Hello and welcome to another episode of ISN Talks. Guys, what the heck are we going to be talking about today?
Shoot. I kind of forgot. Nick?
This guy.
Scuffed recording.
No, we'll keep it going.
This guy, I'm pretty sure you said it was something along the lines of, what is it that draws us to certain artists?
Oh yeah, it was that, wasn't it?
Scuffed recording.
This guy.
Hey.
This guy. He chose the topic.
He chose the topic too.
Okay, you're expecting the guy who has a hard enough time with names to remember everything that we talk about.
How do you function in life?
I don't.
Okay, so. Oh, man.
What a great way to start, right?
I know.
Oh, boy.
Who wants to start it off?
Nick?
Alright, Nick it is.
Alright.
In fact, why don't we go with, why don't we start with SIS? Why don't you go ahead and just use them as an example of what you're looking, of why, or...
Well, first off, SS perfection. I'm just joking.
Perfection to you.
So, no, it's just factual perfection. I mean, you haven't been enlightened yet.
I don't think you ever will be.
Oh.
So, one of the things that draws me into SIS, for example, is the amount of the amount of fan interaction they have. For a small group, usually you don't expect a ton of fan interaction. Simply because they're focusing on training, they're focusing on producing those comebacks, focusing on getting funding, stuff like that. SIS pretty much, I think they do V-Lives 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
They are constantly posting to their social media. They actually have 2 social medias. They have that actually post different content. They have their Korean Twitter and then they have their Japanese Twitter that both post different content. So they have to manage taking selfies for both of those, stuff like that, to really to really keep up. Also with that is the concept, right? So the kind of cutesy girl group concept, evident by the other groups I like, right? I mean, it's SIS, G-Friend, and that was G-Friend. I started dating G-Friend back in rough era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, that concept also draws me in as well. I knew the group pre-debut. So definitely standing pre-debut helps a ton with that.
Okay.
I would say they're more like that pretty and pure concept. Like when you say cutesy, I think of Japanese, really, really cutesy, prancing around.
Oh yeah, I don't listen to
acting
J-pop,
like little
so
kids, kind of cutesy.
No. Yeah, that kind of that pure concept, I guess. Then,
yeah.
But
I know for a lot of people, they think of that too, though, because they are really kind of distinct from those type of concepts that you see from out of Japan, or other K-pop groups as well.
Yeah.
So, what about Promise 9? Well, what about them that got you?
A lot of Promise 9 was the fact that I was already kind of in the fandom before I knew I was in the fandom. I got introduced through a friend, and at that time, everyone I was around was a Flover.
Okay.
And it was kind of like peer pressure, but not really intentional, because they never said I had to be into the group to continue being friends with them. They were like, "Hey, check out this group." And at that time, Love Bomb had came out, and that was right up my alley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you did say that you do like those pure pretty concepts as well, but at the same time, you also like a lot of harder concepts.
Right. And the second song I listened to from them was Glass Shoes. And Glass Shoes is that exact concept. It's that pure concept.
So they hit both notes.
Yep. That was fairly simple. Other things that really help me stay into a group is if I form a bias really quickly. Mm-hmm. Some groups it does happen, some groups it doesn't happen. and it's not a guarantee that like I'm gonna be in the group, because like I have groups that I don't stand that I still have a bias in, and that's because I've tried standing in the group and it just doesn't work. Like if you guys have watched our content for a long time, you know I'm not in orbit. You know, I don't stand Luna. I've tried, but I don't stand Luna. Even though I have a bias and a bias record, it doesn't matter. So, and I think a lot of that attributes to the fact that Luna's concept is not really in line with like my other groups. You know, I usually don't like those rather ethereal concepts, which at the time Luna was doing when I started getting into Luna, because I was running Butterfly.
That was Butterfly, and even before that, like you kind of touched on those concepts, but it was still more kind of like a, I don't know, it was kind of more harder too. Butterfly, they kind of like mellowed out a bit with that. So.
And I mean, I definitely do like some harder concepts. I mean, I stand CLC, which, if you know anything about CLC, it's not a pure concept,
right? And you used to be Blackpink fan as well, right?
Yeah. I used to, Blackpink used to be my alt at one point.
And you said 21 was also your gateway.
21 was my 21 was my gateway into K-pop.
So then like
his gateway.
You started off with like more like into the harder realm, and it kind of migrated towards
And it just kind of like, as like I got much more familiar with K-pop, my taste kind of changed. I mean, obviously, you know, if you know me at all, a thing that helps me get into a group is the fact that they're, you know, not very supported. They're probably Nugu. You know, these guys make fun of me all the time because I'm the Nugu masochist, but I mean, if there weren't people like me, Nugu wouldn't exist.
Right. So we do make fun of you a lot, and it's not with ill intent, because
it's never malicious.
Don't get me wrong,
they just like to give me a hard time.
Dude, you have way too many groups that I can't even name. Okay.
Yeah, I that's another thing, is I stand like 60 something groups.
Which, to be honest though, I'm probably the same, just not so focused on movie. Like I do support a lot of groups.
Right.
Like,
any other things that can help me, like, that really draw me to a group, is if they have a unique group concept. So like I never stand them, but something that really drew me to the group, like Pink Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Was that the one member is hidden.
Yeah.
High School, I stand High School, and that's because they specifically wear masks. They never take them off.
But you can tell they're really pretty, even with the masks on.
Yeah.
It's funny because, like, with Pink Fantasy, like if they have a certain goal that they want to meet to show the last member.
Hidden member.
High School, no, there's no goal like that.
No, there is no goal. They just perform with masks.
Yeah.
And like Fanatics, right? Obviously Fanatics is a rather unique concept. Originally I was very hard stuck on not like standing Fanatics, because I knew it was just gonna hurt in the long run, and then here I am. So about that, stand Fanatics. But yeah, that's kind of what draws me, and it's really a lot of what it comes down to now is how much support there is for the group. Like, I don't stand a lot of really, really large groups. The groups that I stand now that are relatively large, like Ace, From Us 9, they started off small. They started off not known well.
Yeah.
Ace was actually at one point a failure group.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had a comeback that flopped really hard. The only reason they got attention is because of their outfits at the time.
Yeah.
Because they performed in like short shorts.
That reminds me of like how Red Velvet too was like also considered like what was it? Someone called them the nation's failed girl group at one point.
Yeah, the nation's flop group. Yeah.
I mean, they definitely turned it around now. You know.
Yeah, I mean, they're consistently within the top 5 of girl groups. So.
But yeah, I don't know. I've just found that like I have started like going towards the niche concepts. You know, the more K-pop hipster realm, I guess.
Yeah, because it is definitely a journey that, like, as you learn more and more about your background and get more light on that journey, you definitely see that transition. But it's like yeah, you started in the harder concepts, but you never left that. It's like you still enjoy those concepts, but you never left it. You moved on to like the more pretty pure concepts, but you're still there.
Right.
Never left it. Now you're like in this new realm. So.
Yeah. I definitely like have seen that kind of like shift over time. And actually, because like we talked about before, when I joined, my like top 3 groups I think was Blackpink, Twice, and ISN.
Yeah, so like we got to see that unfold before us.
Yeah, like Blackpink, Twice, and ISN were like my top, or Blackpink, Twice, and From Us 9 or something like that were like my top 3 groups.
So you got to From Us 9 after you joined us.
No.
Oh yeah.
He was already into Filmus when we first.
He was already into it, but he wasn't like a hard stand until afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think they were in my top yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was into like those big groups, and it's funny because now we look at that and no ill words to the groups, but now I don't stand any of those top 3 groups anymore. You know, Blackpink, Twice, and ISN, I'm all a former stand now.
Yeah.
Because I've moved on to other groups.
So for you, Aura, it's almost kind of like you're interested in idols that is less with the music and more so the interesting things that they show in like variety shows or in what they post on social media and whatnot.
Okay, it's the social media part is just more recent, to be honest.
Okay. So it's more through like variety shows.
Yeah. So, like everyone knows, I started my journey with AKB for idols. They had a variety show called AK Bingo.
Which is hilarious, by the way. I'm not a big AKB fan at all, but like that show is absolutely hilarious and kind of cruel.
There are some moments that can be very cruel. But like that show allowed like members who weren't as talented in singing, who weren't as talented in other aspects, show their talents in so many other ways. Like some are absolutely hilarious and so extroverted and have so much personality that they don't get to show because other members shine so much more on a stage show. Other members shine so much better as the center. But when it comes to comedy, when it came to like the whole like Bokeh and the straight man kind of comedy duos, like they shined so much more, and you got to see more of their personalities on television.
Yeah. So if you don't know what that means, like the Bokeh and the straight man, that's like that refers to Japanese manzai style of comedy, where it's like one person plays like the idiot who does something stupid, and you have the other person, the straight man, who plays like the person who corrects him, like slaps him over the head, like, "What are you doing, you idiot?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they're straightening him out, like from being stupid or whatever stupid thing they're about to do. So that's what he's referring to with that.
But then there's like idols who are also incredibly talented in acting as well. So seeing them, because I'm gonna say it here and now. Not every idol is going to be the greatest singer. Not every idol is going to be the best dancer. But when it comes to idols, how I kind of approach it is that they are entertainers who are still trying to find their place. Some of them, they're pursuing a career through music, but you see very many that go after their idol career is over. They go into acting, they go into hosting or whatever. You see it with Bora, you see it with Dasom from Sistar, you see it with Yuna. She's still an idol, but she's also really pursuing her acting career as well. But then you see other artists such as Taeyeon pursuing a solo career. You've seen Taemin pursue a solo career.
And then re-debut with another new group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof.
But then it's so interesting. And then let's take Hicho for example. He's an amazing host on
variety
exactly.
shows. He hosts a lot of shows. He recently also just he recently just started hosting a new YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
Just from a few months ago. So yeah, he's extremely active on the hosting circuit.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely great. It shows. For me, I enjoy seeing all the different talents that idols really have to offer. Don't get me wrong, I love the amazing dancers such as Momo, Lisa, freaking basically all of BTS, freaking G's. Then there's also rapping talents, Granted, not all of them have rapping talents as great as other traditional rappers, but they're still pretty good, Or some even pursue DJ careers. I've seen a few pursue DJ careers.
Yeah, it's quite a few.
Some even become models. And then some idols don't even start out wanting to be singers. Take Jisoo for example from Blackpink. We've discussed this off camera, but she originally wanted to be an actress. I believe Jihyo from Twice also started out wanting to be an actress before becoming a singer. Or we've seen other trainees such as Jonghyun's sister Sungyeon become an actress instead of an idol.
So it's the variety of talents they showcase, but what draws you to specifically the idols that you choose to support and stand?
For me, it's honestly that variety of talent that the idols can display. And sometimes, let's take SNSD for example. I was introduced through their music, but it was Hello Baby that drew me in, and it was through their interactions and the personalities that they displayed on that show that drew me in. Or it was it's how the personalities that they show through variety shows and all of that, it more than the stage shows or whatever. Or because we already know I'm heavily invested in the produce groups, and that's because I saw the contestants' personalities. I love the X1 members, I love the ISN members, but I don't think I would have been as invested if I didn't see their personalities. Unfortunately with Idol School, I didn't get to feel like I got to see enough of their personalities show through as much as I saw in the Produce series. And I think that's probably why I'm not as invested into Filmus as I am into the Produce groups. And then that's also what's great about V-Live is that it's a lot easier to start seeing their personalities through V-Lives as well, and it's just so much fun just seeing them laugh, seeing them just making fun of their members, eating.
It kind of goes back to
it's
fan interaction that Nick was talking about earlier.
Yeah. So it's all about the experience for me, I guess. That draws me in. If they don't show up enough on varieties, or if they don't have enough of a interaction, it's harder for me to be drawn in by just music, by just videos, or fan cams, because I don't think that's enough. And don't get me wrong, some fan cams are absolutely amazing or hilarious.
I mean, it's like XID's Honey with that one fan cam that went viral and reinvigorated their group.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What about you?
For me, it's definitely music. I definitely need good music to get into a group. And like, for example, like MCND, like they've had an explosive pre-debut, and comeback. They put out good music, music that I can really get into, and especially when it comes to like emotion, the emotional connection, like when you can feel the emotion in the song and through their vocals to get attached to. And that's especially more so with like ballads too. Mm-hmm. But ballads and like even like fun music. So I'm still like with Nick, you know, the whole pretty and pure concept. I'm still on that. I've been on that. That's kind of like one of my main genres. But I also really love, you know, like R&B, soul. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to rediscover my love of hip hop as well. You know, I'm starting to get back more into like hip hop oriented songs. MCND being, you know, one of them. It's definitely I definitely need the music because I spend more time listening to the music than I do, you know, watching their V lives or, you know, looking them up on Instagram or Twitter. Like if you're like pull out a chart of like how much more time I spend in each activity, it's definitely more worth listening to the music. Now variety shows are still fun. You know, I still take time to watch them, but not nearly as much as I would be listening to their music. Yeah. So variety shows are still great though, because you get so many epic moments to witness. I mean, Fact and Star, Weekly Idol, Idol Room, or when the Idol Room is still a thing.
So apparently, Nick's dog is going, no, Idol Room must continue.
I was about to say the same thing. So, you know, those shows definitely help, and then even there's a lot of YouTube channels as well. Like besides Fact and Star, like Hello 82 is a fairly new one. So many new shows that come up to help, you know, showcase what these personalities are like, and that for me, like, yeah, that helps. But I've always even from before. I could always become a huge fan of an artist before variety shows were really a thing. Variety shows are always a thing actually. Yeah. It's just that I never really got into watching variety shows till around the time of SNSD. Like when you're talking about Hello Baby, I think like that was like one of the first like kind of variety documentary shows that I watched, and that kind of like put me on board with like wanting to seek out more of that type of material to like kind of get to know more of the artists, because like yeah, I love their music. Like I also kind of want to get to know what their personalities are like, and okay, cool. So
we've also seen lately, I feel you've been also kind of had a major shift towards soloists as well.
Yeah, soloists, because like we mentioned like all last year, like soloists have been really bringing on that game. Starting in like I want to say it was like starting in 2017. Like soloists have been really like kind of like upping up like, you know, the quality of their music, but also like the distinctness of their sound and concepts. And then that it really started taking off in 2018, and then 2019 was just like, wow, you know, just keep getting floored by so many. So, and also because they don't, I feel like especially for like the more indie soloists, they go off schedule. Like there's no, because like with the major groups, right? You can kind of tell like they're kind of seasonal. They kind of plot out when they want to release a comeback, because you know, hey, this big group is going to be coming back as well, so we don't want to, you know, try and fight them for a music show win.
Right. I mean, there are some times that it's kind of unfortunate and just bad luck when releases happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I mean, like, well, we've already pushed this release, so we can only push it for so much longer. Red Velvet, you know, they got some major wins last December because they released that song, a harder song when everyone else was doing something more mellow and you know, kind of in season. So with soloists, they don't really care about that. You know, they're not going on music shows, so they can just put out songs whenever. So
yeah,
there's just so much to. There's just so many artists, so many wonderful artists out there to just fall in love with. So
I mean, as we've been doing this show, I've also noticed it's not just you that's really getting into the whole like soloist. I've also noticed like Nick talking more, sharing more solo artists. So Nick's very much into that. I've noticed has been getting more into solo artists as well.
And that just goes back to me and Nick being more focused on the music. We are definitely much more music oriented.
Yeah. I think also solo work allows you to really gauge how good the actual artist is.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a girl group, and no offense to anybody in a girl group, but when you're in a girl group, it's easy for other members to cover. And there's ways to cover for members that are weaker in certain aspects. You just don't have them sing that aspect easy. Because you can get the main vocal to cover if the lead vocal can't reach that note, you know? But with a solo artist, there's no leeway. You're the only singer.
Yep. You are the song.
Yeah, you literally make the music. And so in that aspect, I feel like it's easier to gauge like an artist's true like talent, I guess. A true vocal ability in solo work. And that is one aspect I really like about soloists.
Yeah, and kind of going back to ability, that's another thing that I noticed that kind of draws me into with groups. Going back to groups, how well do they harmonize together? How well do they interact with each other? How well how much can you feel like their hearts like kind of connecting in the same song? And that's another reason why I really love Oh My Girl.
Yeah.
Because their music, even outside of the music, right? You'll notice like the members, the way they speak, they've picked up on each other's speaking habits. You don't do that unless like you're really in close with each other. I mean, just like the three of us, we picked up on a lot of each other's speaking habits over the past year, right?
Right.
So
it'd be weird if to see Jihoon just go, "What's up, diggity dog? What?"
Well, none of us ever does that, so we're not ever going to do that. But with Oh My Girl, like it really shows in their music with the way they harmonize. They harmonize so beautifully.
Definitely. I would have a hard time like standing a group if they sounded like, I don't know, I'm gonna pick a number, like 5 individuals. Right. And it didn't sound like one group, you know? It just sounded like a bunch of people that were singing rather than like a unit. Yes. And that is a thing that like believe it or not, surprise surprise, it happens a lot in Nugu. It is a very, very common thing in Nugu. Yeah. For songs to sound like it's just a bunch of members singing that are a part of the group rather than the group itself. I'm pretty sure I've said that to you in an episode about when we were talking about one other group. So you did, yeah, and hurt a little bit, but it's all right.
But I mean, another group that I would like to say that shows it very well, it would be G-Fin. You see it in how they act on like variety shows, but you also see it in their dance choreography. Like you've seen the whole like them dancing blindfolded and whatnot, and because they're really known for being extremely strict in their training for choreography, but also having really sharp choreography because they're so strict with the regimen. Yep. When I saw that video, it reminded me a lot of another group that's famous for having very sharp, very coordinated choreography is 17. Yep. How 17 is always in sync, and getting that many people in sync at one time, it's not easy. Is so difficult. Yeah. It's one feat, and it is a feat still to do it with 5 people.
17's doing it with 13 people.
Yeah.
Like, that's no joke.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, in the member changes in the way that they reorganize the formations and stuff like that. They don't bump into each other, even in tight quarters, stuff like that. You really have to know your members.
Yeah. So choreography is another thing too. Like, I love, like, really well done choreography, and seeing like those kind of like live stage performances, and seeing like not just the formation, but actually the formation change, the way man, GOT7 is absolutely amazing with how, like, you can literally see him running from one side to the other. Like, that dude runs, like, literally sprints in the middle of choreography to get into position. Like, that is amazing. Like, that just blows me away every single time. Stuff like that I love.
For me, sometimes I like a messy choreography just because it's funny, just to see members kind of go, oh geez, I screwed up, gotta fix it. I mean, I guess that's one of the reasons why I like AKB, because they have that a lot. Yeah, but it's hard to, it's harder if you are trying to find the member that, like, you enjoy seeing, that, because I will say that when it comes to idol groups, sometimes some idols take it a lot harder than others when they screw up.
Oh yeah, who was it? Someone cried about that, actually.
I think,
or is known to cry about that. I can't remember, but like Nayeon, on the other hand, like when she messes up choreography 9 for twice, you see it on her face, because she makes that stupid face, like, oops, I did it again.
Yep.
It's
because Fancy, it wasn't Fancy. Like, I was watching a live performance of Fancy, and someone commented like, "Oh, Nayeon did it again." She got that face that says, "I did it again."
Yep.
Always Nayeon.
One thing I really like is when groups will choreograph, like, almost images into their dance. You know.
Yeah.
Their formation will align perfectly to create an image. Something that really drew me into ISN originally in Lavi and Rose.
Yeah, with their flower imagery, like when they do like their formation, doing the blooming flower, the flower kind of swaying in the breeze.
And G Friend Sunrise, they did a lot there too. And some groups get really, really creative with it. There's an older EXO song, and I don't remember what it's called now. I think it's Growl, where they literally had it is Growl, I think. They literally formed a tree, but they did that by linking arms and balancing each other.
That was Overdose.
Was it?
Maybe.
Overdose. Yes.
But yeah, so if that was Overdose, then yeah. But yeah, they literally had to balance each other, and there was nobody really holding them because everybody else's arms were tied up doing other things. Yeah. And stuff like that is really creative.
Right. Yeah. So, for me, like, I love a lot of those small subtle details as well. Like, you know, in the choreography, when they even have like very specific placement of like their fingertips within, and the way like they'll have like their fingers kind of flowing around the body, or, you know, like just the small subtle movements of like their arms, legs, facial expressions, and even like Yua is really good at this. Yua from Oh My Girl, with the way she will flip her hair. In one of their choreographies for like Windy Day, you know, like, you know, she will actually like have her hair flipped in a specific way to actually like portray that breeze. Like, how do you control your hair? There's no muscles in your hair. Like, you have to like do it from the base of your neck to like whip that hair around. Like, that's intense. Like, that's amazing.
She's a hairbender.
So like stuff like that, like those small details. I love like seeing all those small details, and it kind of makes it when you have a choreography that's nothing but big movements and none of the small subtle details, I probably won't want to watch it again. But when there's like a lot of details, I'll watch it like 3-4 times until I see everything.
Yep, I feel that.
Yeah.
And, you know, with music, the music is the same way with me. I love the subtleties of the music, with the instrumentation, or like when they cue their ad libs, the way they will inflect with their vocals, and the sheer variety of vocals. That's one of the reasons why I will never like get away from groups.
Right.
Is with groups you have that variety of vocals. You have you have the rapper, you have those wispy like falsettos. You have someone who's built in with high power. Someone with like a huskier timbre, smokier timbre. Like I love having the variety of vocal qualities within the same song as well.
For me, I love how they can like you can have an amazing song that all the fans really love, but like behind the scenes, there are some lines that certain members are embarrassed about. So the members will clown on that member whenever that line comes up, whenever they get the chance.
Like with Twice, Likey. So in the song, when Dahyun has a rap drop, and then in the choreography she dabs. Which later on, they for the stage performances, she changed it up from dabbing.
Yeah.
Because she was so embarrassed, and like they would clown her on that, even not even just behind the scenes. Like they clowned her on it on I think an episode of Weekly Idol, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. Yeah. That was like when you said that was the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
That's another thing that reminds me is just like K-pop choreos sometimes just don't age well.
Oh God, no. So,
but there are also some that age very well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's like for example, Lucifer, right? Shiny.
Yeah.
That choreography, it like didn't age well, but also aged well at the same time, because like it doesn't look great. But I remember at the time that released, everybody was trying to learn that.
Or
like that was the choreo.
Super Junior, Sorry. Like,
yeah.
So like the key point of that choreography was like the sorry. But like, so that part didn't really age well. But at the same time, like for the whole choreography, like I thought their footwork was great. So
wait,
yeah.
Now that you bring up Super Junior and this subject, I'm also being reminded that there are certain songs that, like for example, Hicho, he'll do it, like he'll have fun with it, but the other members will run away from it. Like they're like, no, don't want to do it. Like I'm trying to.
Well, I mean, it's Hicho. There's a reason why he's a gem on variety shows and hosting them.
Exactly.
He'll do it. He'll basically do it all.
Hicho is just a gem in himself.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then like seeing them interact with like other groups. Again, I'm gonna bring Hicho up when it was on that one talk show, and basically he was being made to choose between Twice as Momo. This was before the dating thing. Yeah. And
I know
and everybody, for those who know Kim Jong-kook and X-Men, knows that whole ear covering thing. He was praising Filmus. He was going, Filmus, you're gonna do great. You're doing amazing. Your teacher loves you. I'm picking cover his ears. I picked Twice as Momo. That moment, yeah. Like legit. He chose a really good guy, you know.
Yeah.
And
you know, I know I've talked about too, like how it's almost always with the music. Like, yeah, there's been a couple times where I did stand a group without actually liking their music. I mean, you guys remember Mamamoo. I wasn't really a fan of the music, but I loved the group.
Yeah.
XID.
And look at you now.
Now I'm fully on board with Mamamoo. They're like,
now you love Mamamoo.
I don't just love them. They're on my alt list now. They're one of my alt groups.
Let's go.
I mean, I'm very much kind of in a similar position. Like, I was a Jessica stan before Hello Baby. And then seeing how poorly Tiffany did with the kid, in the first few episodes, I was like, I'm a Tiffany stan now.
Yeah. I also have noticed a difference in how we organize our favorite groups, and I don't know if this has to play into much into like the way we stand, but like for example, like me, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people alt multiple groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jihoon, I think you do it. I think you have like
4.
How many alts?
3.
4 alts.
Yeah.
Like for me, for example, I can only alt one group. And unless the group is a big size, I can only bias one member. Like if the group is like really large, like 17 or IS1, I'll bias multiple members. Yeah. But if it's a smaller group, I can't do that. And I usually, if I stay in the group, I always have a bias. But I also know people that like Jihoon alt multiple groups.
Yeah.
Will have multiple biases. And multiple bias records.
Yeah, I mean, like especially with the old groups, like I gave up on having a bias. I just have nothing but bias records at that point.
Yeah. See, even in SIS, I have an alt, and I have a bias, and they're my alt group. Right. Yep. So I think definitely, I found that interesting as well.
Yeah.
Because like I've always only had one alt group. And also. Go ahead.
I just don't see the need to like have to restrict myself to, one of anything. It's like it's kind of like when I think of like parents and their kids. Like, yeah, I'm sure there's those parents that says like, oh no, I love all of you the same. Like talking about like having like multiple children.
No, that's definitely not true.
There's definitely that one.
There's definitely that favorite child.
But at the same time, like there are parents who are like, no, they literally do love all of their kids like the same. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that also plays into. I think a lot of that is also shaped from, how we were introduced. Because I was introduced by a 21 stan, who that was her alt. She only had one alt, right. And she only had one bias in said group. And explain obviously when she explained the concept of a bias to me, it was your favorite member.
Yeah.
And so I think that definitely played into, how I learned, because I mean that's kind of what it is, having a bias. Yes. But that being said, just like everything in K-pop, realistically, there is no dictionary definition.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
because slang has evolved.
For me, like I have multiple alts, very similar to Jihoon, but I also only have one bias in each alt. So, like for me, it's a mix because of both you two. I'm fine with having multiple alts, but I'm only okay with having like one bias. I'll have all the bias records for all I care. Like, but that's also from my AKB. I find it interesting because you said that your friend introduced it to you that way. For me, it was through AKB's like graduation concept, because I'll still love the group. I'll still like the group, but like when my favorite member leaves, I'm sorry, they're not going to be my Oshimen anymore. Well, they're still my Oshimen, but just my graduated Oshimen, which is favorite member. So I would go on and pick my next favorite member, and they become my Oshimen, and that would continue for years.
Yeah, I think definitely, like how you define K-pop is definitely shaped by how you were introduced to it.
Yeah,
but also I think it's how you. I think a lot of it depends on how you view, your alts, your hard stands, your soft stands. Because, like for me, for example, I view it as a tier list. You have your S tier groups, but then you have your alt that's like above all of that. For at least in my opinion. And then you like your hard stands would be like your A tier, and so on and so forth. And bias is very much the same. You have your alt bias.
Yeah, I mean, but for me, it's less on tiers. I don't do tier basing. It's more like what aspect of the group do I like, or what aspect of the members I like. So like, you know, when I say, oh my girl, you know, I have nothing but bias records within that group. I can't pick a bias because there's aspects of each member that I really love them for. You know, like Hyojung, she's the candy leader. You know, she's she's just such a sweetheart.
Right.
And she can also be really ditzy, but at the same time, like, she's still so responsible. Like, I love that about her. You know, Arin, she can be so shy and cute, but at the same time, like, you know, when she opens up. Or you know, like Suni, she's kind of like the their version of Hichul. So, you know, I have aspects about each member that I love, and so it's kind of the reason why, like, well, I can't really pick one over the other because I like different reasons. Same with my groups, you know, like Mamamoo, IS1, Oh My Girl, Twice, like, they're all very different groups. Yeah, but I love them for very different reasons. Right. So that's the reason why I can't compare them.
Yeah, I will say Mamamoo is definitely an exception in my book because I'm very much the same way. Like, I have a bias in every group except Mamamoo
because they're all such crackheads. I love it.
They are. There is no way to pick up. There is no bias in that group. They are all your bias, like, and simultaneously also all your bias wreckers.
But Hwasa has such a fierce image, but when she's with her group members, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, there's really no. Mamamoo is a bias, like, literally.
So her channel, she's so extra. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Mamamoo members, but unfortunately, I do still have that strict one bias rule, and that includes them. Like, for me, there's always going to be just that strict one bias per group.
I feel that.
But when it comes to how many old groups, it's very much dependent on how, like, the situation, on how I feel about how I got introduced to each group specifically, you know? I mean, I've said it before in a previous ISN Talks episode, I believe. Like, SNSD, it was rough times. AKB was rough times. Twice was rough times. That's when, but, like, you know, they helped me pull through. And then IS1 is a special exception to. I wasn't going through rough times. They're just a combination of two genres that I absolutely love. So they ended up, and then also Produce. Oh my god, that was an emotional roller coaster.
Man.
PDX 101.
That one too.
Yeah, that one too. That and like Produce 48 before that.
Yeah, that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And you know me, I cried at all of them.
Yeah, I always tell people, they're like, you know, they're like, why do you like new groups? Isn't that just like a pain? It's like, yeah, why do you watch Produce 101? Isn't that just a pain? Like, you know, your groups are gonna disband, and it's kind of the same thing, right? Is like, you love the group even though you have it in the back of your mind that the group is not forever. Right. And I think that's a hard thing for K-pop fans to remember.
Yeah.
Is that your group is not like gonna last forever. And like, quite literally, like, if something goes wrong because of the nature of the Korean media and Korean reputation system, if one thing goes wrong, that group could be done.
Yeah, but with the Produce series, you fall in love with the individual members first before you fall in love with the group. So even if the group, you fall in love with the group when they form, when the group disbands, like, you still have that original love you have for the individual members. Because look at IOI and their former members now. They still have a wide reputation. So.
Which is also a curse, though, because your members might not even make it into the finals.
True. But at the same time, you still support those members. Because, like, look at how many former, how many members that got cut from Produce X101, Produce 48, that we still follow. You know, like Doa with Fanatics. Kim Na-yeon. I'm still following her, waiting for her to debut to Banana Coaches Group, New Kid, or whatever it's going to end up being called.
Yeah, just so many scars. Thanks for opening them up, man.
But at the same time, this is also what people like me go through pretty much all the time.
What? Yeah. I mean,
so like when I started standing IS1, people were like, you know, why do you stay in a group that's going to be, you know, done in 2.5 years? It's like, I'm already used to this. There's no problem with that.
Well, and
enjoy them while they're here.
And for me, it's like, yeah, IS1's not going to be forever, but the members will always be around. The individual members, like, you know, I hope the individual members, even before they became IS1. So.
I hate to be that guy, but we thought X1 was going to be for quite a while too, though.
Yeah, but the X1 individual members are still around. I mean, look at H&D. You know, we got them.
Yeah, Gravity.
And Gravity, bro. Amazing.
Gravity, man.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I'm also in a boat where I'm also used to members after they graduate or after they're finished with their idol careers. You don't hear from them anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, geez, like, again, for how long I've been in K-pop, you know, since Gen 1, like, how many groups did I see disband? You know?
Yeah. And I mean, I think we've definitely all seen our fair share of disbandments and never hear from idols again.
Yeah. But
as a guy that got intro to 21, I definitely feel.
And then you got to see them go through their worst times too.
I definitely got to see what was the aftermath of certain situations.
Yep.
But you know, and I think like, you know, I think that just comes with like enjoying this music, you know. I mean, there's a similar thing in American pop as well, you know. An artist could just get tired of doing music and then done.
I think but when it comes to idols specifically, there is that whole contract where when the contract ends, they could decide that they don't want to renew, that they just want to go back.
Yep.
I think that's what makes being a fan and what initially drew us in, both hurts and more precious at the same time. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I guess an allusion to the beauty of flowers, right? You have a vase full of flowers, but eventually you're going to wither and die.
Cherry blossoms.
But cherry blossoms, right? You wait all year round for them to when they come to bloom. So that fleeting moment is another aspect that I could see.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's why it's very important to not stay with the same groups, but also look at groups that are, you know, in pre-debut, groups that are debuting currently, you know, stuff like that. We talked about it before, how this is kind of like, it's too early to call, but it's almost like it's going to be a Gen 4 of sorts, you know, where these new groups, you know, Bandit, ITZY, are going to lead that forefront.
Yep.
And I think that's why it's really important in like a generation shift, is to learn about the new generation, learn what's going to be different.
Yeah, and that's just one of those things, like, you don't really know what constitutes a generation until after it's already been kind of done.
The generation, like, we're only just now learning what really made Gen 3 Gen 3.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people are thinking that this is going to be Gen 4 soon, is because if we're learning what Gen 3 is now,
we're probably already we're
probably already almost on Gen 4, if not already on Gen 4.
Yeah. Yep.
So
and we and I
so it's almost
it's about that time.
It's almost an hour. We've
already wrote 3 tangents.
Yeah, we've gone far from our original.
Welcome to ISN Talks.
Right? Yeah. We've gone far from. Oh yeah. So how do you get into groups to start where this is what we like about groups to, you know, you should stand your group, show them love.
Yep.
How about we end it here?
Hell yes. Do it.
All right.
Let's go, Nick.
Thank you for watching. This has been Idols. You got me. All right, let's try this again. Thank you for watching. This has been ISN Talks. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Click that bell icon if you want to see when we upload in the future. Make sure you join our Discord. We post there, and we might also be posting sneak peeks as to what we're going to be talking about in the next episode. We have a Twitter. Make sure you go follow that. We interact there frequently. And yeah, we will see you in the next video.
Bye.